kind of different, kind of white box compared to what you're probably used to seeing. 2 pieces of tape on top. See the wing of the aircraft. Oh, that broke off. Looked like somebody was trying to pull this out prior to me. Now this is quite big. I don't know what the measurements of a Voodoo is, but that's what I'm going to be comparing this to, because it is brushless, so why not, right? All right, 1 battery, 2 props there, some tape covering that hole. Let's go ahead and cut this out. Some wheels, a battery charger, some skirts for the wheels, a new prop hub, looks to be different than the 400mm bird, another battery in another location where both batteries could have perhaps fit. Alright, kind of excited about the brushless. Not super excited about 2S though. Of course, to get power, you need the 2S, so it's an obvious step that needs to be taken. But I kind of like the simplicity of those little tiny batteries. But anyway, that rant is over, because this is going to be so much better of a flyer that who's going to care, right? Yes, no one. All right, so you got a good little finish. It feels so like the 400s when it comes to all of this, the way the servo is sitting there. All this is so exact. This hatch is not. This hatch is bigger. Support a bigger battery. Oh wow, it's a JST plug on it. That's crazy. They went away from that Molex, which I'm sure the power ratio, the amperage wouldn't be right, so they had to. So let me figure out how to get into this. I think you cannot see. All right, I see a hatch right here. Let me investigate this for a second. So the excess hatch has got to be here. I see a cutout, so I'm gonna go ahead and, yep, it comes right out. Tucked underneath the front of there, stuffed in. Let's investigate the board. I see a plug right here in the front. That's not it, I don't think. Oh, right here in the back. There we go. That's your 2 plugs that we're looking for. Alright, let's see what we got here. So I just fought to get one of these props out. Let's see how this prop saver looks. It's way different than the 400s if you look at this. I don't know if anybody, I know anybody, nobody's shown it yet. The whole setup is totally different. This flat piece is different. The hub that it clips into. And it's hard to get in. That's cool. I like that. Now right out the back, looking at this prop, the way it's made, it looks reminiscent, the small blades, like the Voodoo. I think realistically, you're talking about the same amount of money that it would cost you. Let me go ahead and turn this on first. I don't know how this is going to be set up, so let's turn that on. Yeah, it's already bound to this receiver, this radio. It still has the arm and second mechanism. Very quiet. Doesn't seem as violent as a Voodoo does. All right. Go ahead and disconnect that. So I'm fairly confident. Let me go ahead. You know what? I'll hook it up one more time and just test like AS safe mode and stuff. Alright, so that's weird. See how that's down? I noticed that happens a lot of times with these birds. I'm going to arm it. Now, once you start flying it, look at that. It's straightened out. They do that though, so that's a normal deal. So all right, hit that. All right, give it a little angle, and it's gonna make you right. All right, so safe is working. Let's see how this that was a real quick thing. Yeah, so hands off, loop loop loop. I mean roll roll roll, hit it, pull back, elevator, elevator, elevator went down. All right, so that's where, I mean, I'm loving how quiet this is. This is a very cool running fan. So then if I push it this way, right turn, nothing. So all stabilization off. Go ahead and disconnect the battery. Move the radio out of the way. Move this box out of the way. All right, so now I'm gonna get this connected up to the Spektrum receiver. I probably will still fly it with the stock radio just to, you know, for that reason. For that, you know, I don't even know if I need to be honest with you. I've done that so many times. I just want to get this on Spektrum and see what's what. At this point, I got my Spektrum radio set up. I've created a model. If you want to learn how to do that, I got several videos on that, so just look for one of those. I'm gonna look in the hole. I see the plug that corresponds to my teeny tiny receiver that I have. And it looks like once I plug it in, I'm going to have enough room to tuck it forward this way to give it more nose weight, because that's what ends up being wrong with these. So as I'm looking at the plug, if you could see in that hole, try to get you in there, because a lot of people get critical about not being able to see it. So let me shine some light in there. All right, you see those two plugs? All right, the white one, I'm sorry, both of them are white, but the smaller one at the top, you can see the pins are somewhat favoring the outside of the aircraft, going that way. So then I'm going to take my plug for the receiver and make sure that I put it in with the plastic with the holes favoring the outside, same. And then I'm going to kind of just plug that in. I'm gonna get my little grabber. This is usually the hardest part about this setup. All right, so I'm gonna grab this little sucker. I like to grab it from the sides, but I guess you could grab it the other way. So the holes are, I'm sorry, I'm all off frame. The holes are facing that way, right? Of course, out of focus right when I try to show you the holes, but you saw it before that. So I'm gonna get it lined up in here, and I am sorry if I'm off, because this is hard enough to see on your own, let alone to catch on video. Let me get set up better though, because I could probably get you a better view. Yeah, I think that might fare out a little bit better. Alright, it's at an angle, and I'm having trouble seeing because I'm holding the camera right in front of my viewing area. Alright, let's see if I can do this eventually. You don't need to see me do all the logistics of it. Just know that you got to get it in there. So I'm going to do it off camera. Okay, forget everything I said about the holes being on the outside. The other plug is the one you want. The one that's closer to you. You see it? Let me see if I can get the light in there for you. It was very apparent upon sticking it in that the plug. All right, you see which one I got it in. You see my receiver. You see my receiver right here sitting on top. You see this plug going in. There's two plugs. You want the one that's closest to you, closest to the servo, and it's the only one it's going to plug into. So I didn't get it all the way plugged in, but I stopped just to show you which one. So usually what I normally do when I get that is I stick a screwdriver in there to just seat it fairly, and that should be it. Finished product of the plug anyway. Not all right. Now that you got it plugged in, this is usually quite an ordeal for me, but it won't be for you because you're going to do it the smart way and have two people help you. On this receiver, you can't put it on and then press the button. You have to be pressing the button. So I'm gonna press the button, and I'm gonna fumble to try to get this plugged in with one hand, which is usually a procedure of me putting it in partially like you see, and then I can put two hands to it once it's armed. Once it's in bind mode. I got it. Alright, so then I kind of pushed it against the frame. You see it's in bind. I'm going to hit bind on the radio. See, it's catching it. Alright, so that should be it. So now I'm going to come here. I got control there. I got elevator there. My rudder's backwards. So I'm going to turn this way. It's backwards. My elevator's good. My aileron, good. Let's check our power. Power's going the right way. So I'm going to go into the same thing you would do in any other. I love the IX series. It brings you right into what you want first. Normally you want to do this. So I'm going to go to rudder. Switch that. So now my rudder's going the right way. All right, so now let me just pop this in here just for the sake that I don't want it dangling for the whole time I'm trying to show you these next steps. Hang on. So anyway, I got that just kind of blotched up and closed. I'm going to take these wires and I'm going to put them on the under that servo arm, and then I'm going to just go ahead and tuck this in however I can get it. Not much room, you know, so the antennas are going to be funky and all, but I've never had an issue, so, you know, I've used these quite a few times in lots of flights. Only with the 400 millimeter birds, though, so this is definitely going to be different. It worked on the 500 millimeter, so that's that, but, you know, of course, this is still a different animal. So I'm going to get that worked in. I think I'm going to just try it right there. It's kind of tight under where I want it to go, so I'm going to just put it sideways and push it down. It kind of sticks right in there. You see it? Kind of fits in a slot. Very good fit. And the last thing would be to see if this little air intake, I'm going to get those antennas kind of routed somewhat different of each other. Alright, so I'm going to stick this in. Yeah, fits flush fine. You can see the glow of it through there. I don't know if you come through on camera, but yeah, you can. So you can always check your receiver. But yeah, I think it's going to be out of the way of everything. And that's how I'm going to put it. So now that I got everything working, now I'm going to go down the list. I already set up throttle cut just because that's, you should kind of maybe do that first usually. So throttle cut's working. So then I'm going to go to gear, channel 5. Let's see if I can find it. Gear. It's on the normal gear switch, right? So I'm gonna turn it that way. So right off the bat, I found that right quick. So usually they go in order. So the AS3X or whatever is on gear. There's 3 positions though, so I'm gonna change it from gear. So I'm gonna go to here, channel assign. I don't know if I really need to even show you all this, but I'm just going to channel assign. Gear, I want to change that from A to B, right? And then aux 1, I'm going to make that I, just because I think that might be the button. I don't know, but we'll see. Then this one, aux 2 is B, so I don't know what that's going to be. There's no other buttons on this thing here, right? Just this and this. So I'm going to just make it A, just because for, you know, so it's not on the same one. That's all. So alright, I'm back into it. The radio's reconnected to the aircraft. Alright, no corrections. So I'm gonna hit this switch that I assigned it to. Corrections. However, it's in the opposite direction that I like. So I'm gonna go back here. I want my, right now this is safe mode and this is off. I don't want that. I want the other way, right? So go to servo setup, go to gear, reverse it. So now this should do nothing. No correction. All the way down is corrections. So let's see if the intermediate thing works. If I go to intermediate, that's 1 click. All right. So safe mode will be about that much bank angle before it stops you. Intermediate, it's hard to tell with it out the air, but a lot more bank angle basically. And then off will be completely off. All right, so that's working good. Let's test the button. I just threw it on a a position just to see. Might be right, might not. Go ahead and try to cut off. So basically, you remember what happened with the stock radio. When I hit the button on the stock radio and I give it right command, it would hold it for that period. That's how you test this. Put it back in safe mode. I'm gonna turn it on or low. Then I'm gonna hit the button. Then I'm gonna, and it stayed. So I got it right on the first try, but I have done this a couple of times. So there's probably a channel after that that would be the A. This I assigned it to this A, but that's gonna be unimportant for you. It might be for like the return to home button or something, you know, when you press it and it returns back to you. I don't really want that, so I'm not worried about it, but it's on there. If you have a need to kind of play with it, I can. So I think I'm not gonna do 2 videos on this. It's gonna be one where I'm gonna do this whole part here that you see how to put it on Spektrum, and then the next one will be to fly it at the field. So now we're rocking and rolling with everything you need on your Spektrum radio. I set up my dual rate. I'm all ready for that. So one question that I was asked before in the past, I'll go ahead and demonstrate now. Can you use your toy grade radio with it? Which most people file that under why would you want to, but let's say you want to fly more than one at the same time. That makes sense to me. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery. You saw it just working on Spektrum. It was working. I'm gonna disconnect my RF signal on Spektrum just to not really confuse things. So I'm gonna just go ahead and go to a different model real quickly. The next one up. Still gonna take a while as long to get back to it. Anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the toy grade radio on first, or you could turn the plane on first, but I don't know about that procedure. I know this was bound to it before I disconnected it and put it on Spektrum, right? I'm gonna connect it up. You see it's starting to move. You see it's centered, so that's a good sign. So then there you go. You're rocking and rolling on your toy grade. Arm it. Yep, you're rocking and rolling your toy grade. So then the next question, well, if you do connect it back to your toy grade, will it go back to your Spektrum? So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my Spektrum. Go down to the last model, which is the one I just added. Connect it up. I'm gonna go ahead. The radio's ready. I'm gonna plug this up. It's doing some funky stuff. It's centered. Now it's, yep, doo-doo. That means you're ready. So it always does this, like kind of gets stuck and then boop. So now I'm going. Elevator, rudder, throttle. So there's your answer. Everything can be done interchangeably. You can leave the Spektrum radio connected inside, and when you hook it up to the toy grade or whatever, then go ahead and fly it like you want, then hook it back up to Spektrum, and bloop, 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 you're done. So I'll see you at the field. All right, so I just pulled this out the box. Something I didn't notice when I first opened it was, because I didn't snap the landing gear on it all, I didn't care. But anyway, you can see there's these little weird hooks right there on the front and the back side of where the gear slides in at. It's for the pants or the door, and it kind of, you see the little hooks. I can't do it with one hand, but you can kind of see what I'm getting at, and I did snap it in on this side already, so you see how it's already snapped in. So yeah, that keeps these still. So let me get that snapped on. That's working. So all right, this is gonna be the maiden flight of this. I opted not to even use the toy grade transmitter because, I mean, you saw the video prior to this. I basically programmed everything the same. There shouldn't be any need for it. So if I feel a need for it later, if you guys request it, I'll do it. I'm not gonna even worry about it. I'm just doing it straight on Spektrum. This is what I want to use anyway. So check my control surfaces. Everything is working correctly. Hit my throttle cut off and see if I can get me that tail.
Oh wow!
I'm at my secondary home field, which is Monroe, Louisiana. We kind of visiting here right now. There's a fly-in this weekend, and I just decided to do this maiden here because I didn't have time to get to my field for one. But like I said, this is my secondary home. I don't think I even put any expo in here, so this is just a regular setup, and it's pretty cool. I think it could use some expo just to smooth out what it's doing, but I don't have much power applied. It seems to be real smooth, and it's doing everything I want it to do. Now let's check the the push button roll. I'm gonna push it and I'm gonna roll. And it rolled.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It rolled in the safe mode. It rolled. Now let's see. You see how much bank I got? I don't know if I'm too far. Let me come in. Because it really doesn't have a lot of banking with this first level of safe mode. So like that's it. That's full bank, right? Full bank. I'm gonna go into the second safe mode. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now I can turn the bird. Look, that's a turn without rudder. Everything I've been doing thus far has been with rudder because it won't turn. But now with this intermediate mode, what they call it, it's turning like a real bird. So bang, look at that. Like that thing really, the wind kind of caught me there too. So don't misconstrue that. And I did add in some rudder there because I just didn't want to wait for it to come around. But anyway, let's see what a landing might look like. Yeah, it's kiting like crazy, so it's gonna be hard to get it down. So it didn't exactly stay straight, but it landed quite well.
Right.
Let me get it back on the runway, and then we'll go off safe mode and see what happens then. All right, so we've lined back up. I'm gonna go ahead and take off again. Give it some rudder. That kept it straight without much problem at all. Still in that second safe mode. I'm gonna click it off. Whoa, we kind of went to doing crazy stuff, so I gotta trim it.
Trim it.
It looked like it went straight elevator, so let's see if I can get this around. And then it's windy. It's too windy to do a small bird like this. Yeah, it's already climbing without it, so I need to probably apply some down. And my transmitter isn't clicking, so let me see what it's doing now. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty level. Let me go ahead and kick it off safe and see, because it was doing all kinds of weird stuff up and left or something. That's it. Yep. It almost does a loop.
Whoa.
It almost does a loop when I kick it off safe. So I got to hard trim this on the ground because safe is doing everything for this bird at the moment. So I'm going to probably just hard trim that on the ground because that's going to be way too much digital trim. So I'm going to go ahead and try to come in. That's why I can't get it down, because it's getting way too much elevator. But you know, when you get these out the box, you might get something like that, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna go to the bench. Be right back. Took off of safe mode. So yeah, I controlled surface a little bit better.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's off safe now, and that's working. Oh wait, that's not off safe. That was in intermediate. I'm sorry. Let me get it lined up because it did go so crazy off of safe and into the wind. Of course, it's gonna climb. But yeah, it still seems to be going straight to a loop for anything off safe mode. So let me hit it going into the wind and see what it does. Then I did give it a bunch of down, and I don't know, it didn't do it. All right, off safe mode.
Ooh.
Yep, still going way up. So I could fly it if I just keep, you know, like that's off safe, of course. And I could constantly keep adjusting it, but I don't want to. I'm gonna come in again and give it even more down because my stick is centered as far as trim goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring it in. There.
Like butter.
How cool it sounds, a little smooth fan sound. Bend the control surface a little bit just to get it back open. And I'm gonna try that again. Full power that time. All right, come around and safe off. All right, safe is off. It still needs expo because you see it's kind of real, like shaky, like, you know, yeah. So I would say it's probably not as easy as the one that came out that I recently reviewed, the 450 from Hobby King, or I mean Hobby Zone. It's not as easy as that one off safe, but
I think when I do put the X, and to be fair with that one, I added Expo out of the box. So, you know, hey, you can do your rolls and your loops and all that stuff. And, you know, it's got the power. And you just got to get your Expo set up. And that's what I'm going to ultimately have to do, is put my Expo in. And it's a blast, though. Well, I had a timer set at 5 minutes. I think, you know.
Oh, he got the wheels.
The Spektrum timer is automatically at 5 minutes, so I went ahead and went with that. But I don't know what this battery's going to do.
2 more birds.
Yeah, let's go up and fly with him for a little bit. Even though I'm expired on my time, I'm pretty sure. Oh, he went the other way. Super windy. Oh, he's turning again. That thing turns crazy in that intermediate mode. So the thing about this one versus the 450 millimeter is obviously this is a brushless motor. Nice paddle.
Oh, that was cool. That was cool.
So that's going to give you a lot of amenities right there by itself, the brushless motor. But the bigger size, you know, that 50 millimeters might not seem like a lot, but like that's it flying with a 400. And when they're both in the air, they don't look much different in size, to be honest with you. So that's one of the regular brushed. My original first one is the red tail, and I always help people learn how to fly with it because it's such a special bird. I just think it's awesome to do so. So he's got plenty of time left, perhaps. I don't probably have that much, so I'm gonna go ahead and come in. And I don't know this bird, so I'm gonna see what my time is on the clock for this bird with that.
Beautiful.
500 millimeter warbird brushless. I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm gonna add some Expo in, maybe do another portion of this video just to show y'all what the Expo added. But for that, I mean, we are gonna do one more comparison. The cameraman has a Voodoo. My biggest thing with this is, why would you buy this if you're gonna do what I did, which is put a Spektrum receiver in it and fly Spektrum? I don't think you would. You'd probably just opt for the Voodoo or the warbird painted in a similar scheme like this. They have a warbird painted scheme for this bird in that same Voodoo style and size. We're gonna put the Voodoo right next to it, which they're very similar in size, but I think the Voodoo is way higher in power. I know it is because it's a 3-cell. The Voodoo has way more power than this. So why would you choose this over the Voodoo? You wouldn't. You wouldn't. This is nice if you're gonna use the target rate radio, all of that stuff. Maybe a little bit milder than it. Now don't get me wrong, the Voodoo is a much higher level of skill than this. The Voodoo is going to be gone in a few seconds if you're not paying attention. Ask me how I know that. If it wasn't for the cameraman saying, it's over there, I was just circling and he was like, I see it. And then I got it back. But the Voodoo will get away from you. This is a little bit slower, a little tamer, won't get away from you. It's more comparable with the other warbirds. So I would say that's the comparison there. But we're going to fly them and we're going to see.
Right.